Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Closers Podcast. I am your host, Mark Alvarado. Today, we are bringing you episode 12 of this show. Can you believe episode 12? I can't believe it. Today, I got the OG guest, the first guest that I have ever had on. He's making his triumphant return today to the pod. Let's welcome Quinn, the Moondog Kalani, to the pod. Welcome back, sir.
Oui.
Okay. All right, then. We. We motherfucking we. Today, Quinn Kalani is going to make the argument for why MMA is the best sport in America.
Well, we don't really have a detractor, but so it's more like a proclamation.
Wait, what? A detractor? There are so many other sports that are like more popular in the.
Well, okay, so you will act as the antagonist to my protagonist.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wasn't sure going in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll offer counter arguments to you.
Okay.
If you would allow it.
Sure. So, my base, my this is just my personal opinion. I'm in no way forcing this upon anyone. It just came upon a discussion. It's my opinion that mixed martial arts, many people would call it, UFC, but, it's not UFC. It's broader than that, but mixed martial arts.
Bellator, you got one.
Yeah. Mixed martial arts, UFC, etc., my opinion, is the greatest sport in the world.
Oh, not just America, in the world.
In the world.
Okay.
I think it would be awesome if it was in America, but it has more of a international outreach.
Sure.
Why? When I think about why it's the greatest sport in the world, I think about three things. I'm gonna try to remember.
Excuse me.
I think so. One, the height of achievement is greater. So when I say height of achievement, I'm talking about being world champion is greater than that of any other sport. So you have world champion, Super Bowl world champion, MLB world champion. I would argue that those are false equivalencies to that of the MMA world champion.
How?
Well, okay. So that was point one. You just want to start with that one? All right.
Okay, yeah. We can go point by point if you want.
Yeah, sure. So, when comparing it to other sports, let's say basketball, let's say traditional American sports, the big three.
Kawhi Leonard.
Basketball, football,
baseball. Talk about baseball.
Those world champion, whenever someone reaches that world champion status, they're not really world champion.
You're saying they're America's champion?
They're the North American world champion out of the big three. They're the North American world champion.
Yeah.
Think about the baseball talent and not even the best. Think about the baseball talent that comes out of Japan. What if the MLB also included Japan and South Korea?
Like with it, like put a team in South Korea,
yeah.
Put a team in Japan.
Imagine that.
That would be crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Include more of the world to call yourself world champion. Can we do a fact check real quick?
Sure,
Are
yeah.
you in fact world champion if you're the MLB, do they say world champion?
Let me see. You're the MLB World Series champion. Let me see. Title of MLB championship. The World Series. So you're the World Series champion.
What about the NBA and the NFL?
NFL, you're the Super Bowl champion.
It's not like world champion.
No. I mean according to Aaron Rodgers when he won, he was I'm the world champion. And then NBA, you're the NBA Finals champion.
All right. So it's mainly baseball.
Yeah. I feel like as of right now, baseball has the biggest outreach across the globe.
Wow. Over soccer?
Well, no, out of the big three, we're talking big three.
Okay. Yeah. No, I would agree.
But yeah, if you're gonna
No,
talk
I would
about
disagree. I think basketball has a bigger global
I
outreach.
think basketball in the next 3 years is going to surpass, but you have to look at how baseball has camps set up, like literally almost in every Asian country,
except for China.
Yeah.
Basketball has China.
Well, and also you got to look at how many countries in Latin America play nothing but baseball and soccer.
Yeah, but
so
then you have all of Europe. No one in Europe plays baseball. They play basketball or soccer.
Yeah, but I feel like
or if they're real gangster, they do MMA.
Asia plus Latin America is greater than Europe
and China.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. I mean, you have to think all of Asia.
No, I disagree.
Minus China.
I disagree.
That's kind of a lot of people, man.
That's I disagree. So are we gonna say? I don't even think baseball is the main sport in Latin America.
Well, yeah, no, soccer is.
I don't think it's one of the top two. I would argue I would say boxing is the second biggest sport in Latin America over
what? Boxing
over baseball. Yeah.
Boxing. What the fuck? How?
In Latin America.
Yes.
There's a rich lineage and heritage and culture in Latin America in boxing that is so dense, textbook dense. We're not even going to get to it. Let's get back to MMA versus, the MMA status.
Okay,
champion.
all right, okay.
It's okay. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
What would you offer against it?
I believe that the idea of a champion being proclaimed as the world champion or whatever, I feel like that's just arbitrary at this point. Because no matter what you look at the WWE championship. They're like, oh, that's the world champion. Oh, it's just like, it's such an arbitrary thing to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense to hold it to any sort of standard where you're like, no, in MMA, like you are legit the world champion, whereas in NFL, MLB, NBA, because of the lack of reach and the lack of participants from across the world, doesn't mean that you're the world champion.
What if we compared it to soccer? Soccer probably has the next biggest global outreach, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because, you have the World Cup. That's legit. You are the world champion if you win that championship. Like, there's no disputing that. Your country is the best for the next 4 years. No one can dispute that.
So I think I think the argument comes down to team sport. What is how do you measure the achievement of a team sport versus the team achievement of an individual?
Yeah, it's hard to compare. Excuse me, goddamn.
It's
not easy to compare the two because it's just like innately different.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. I just think that putting the term world in front of champion is kind of arbitrary. Because you're right. Outside of America, like, I would say the MLB and the NBA have the two biggest outreaches after, after MMA, if we're just speaking of the big three in America. And yeah, they're considered world champions. But are you, like, I don't know. Like, the world doesn't. So I guess I agree with you. I guess I'm agreeing with you.
Okay,
I can't really argue that. I can't
cool.
argue.
So out of 3 points, I've gotten 1. My goal is to get all 3.
Well, you're not going to get all 3. But.
All right. My second point is the entertainment and drama. As the UFC would put, the thrill and agony in their own, as the title of their own series, The Thrill and Agony, is greater and higher than any other sport. And I think this is a major point.
How is the thrill and agony of watching an MMA bout more exciting than the thrill and agony that somebody, watching a NFL playoff game is, or an NBA like super close neck and neck game,
2 reasons.
or an MLB game where you're just like it's a 0-0 game and
Sure.
you just need one fucking run, you know.
Sure. 2 reasons. With the MLB and the NBA, you are in a series. You can lose a game and you're still in it. You can lose 2 games, you're still in it.
Right.
The odds are very slim, but you can lose 3 games and you're still in it. And in the seasons, you can lose 30 games and you're still in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
The stakes aren't as high
Sure.
in the MLB and the NBA.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it's win or it's go home.
Yeah. So it's one off.
Much like MMA.
Yeah.
In MMA, okay, so let me put it to you this way.
Okay.
And I'm going to quote, I think Dana White said this.
Okay.
If there's a football game going on across the street, and at the same time there's a fight going on, which one are people going to watch?
When you put it that way, the fight, obviously.
Right.
But you put branded jerseys on those players playing the football game. Different fucking story. Way different story.
The physical stakes. So we've talked about, in MLB and NBA, the record doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
In the NFL, it's win or go home. But the physical stakes,
Yeah. Physical stakes, I feel. Yeah.
It's a fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a fight. But, I mean, there's like, in football, there's like 11 guys fighting 11 other dudes. Yeah, maybe not punches are being thrown, but it's a physical sport. It's rough.
Yeah, but you can lean on your teammates
Yeah.
to carry you to victory.
But that doesn't mean that it's less exciting than an MMA bout. I agree with you on the point where you say it's going to be...
I feel like we're genetically, primordially tuned in to a fight. Contrary to football. Morally, I also feel better watching a fight than football.
morally?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Wow. Okay, let's get into that. Because what do you mean morally you feel better watching a fight than you do football?
The long term, and okay.
'Cause you're a big LA Rams fan.
The data for the damage of CTE on MMA isn't there yet because MMA is still a young sport.
Yeah.
So it's hard to compare anything to that, but knowing the damage in football that happens,
Yes.
sometimes it's a little hard to take. And then at least for me it is.
But I mean, in MMA, you're
But then
seeing
again,
dudes.
I still love it.
But in MMA, you're seeing dudes like literally get like punched in the face multiple times in one fight,
Yeah, but
or kicked in the stomach, chopped at the knee, bruised.
you're doing that with technique. You're pulling, certain moves. You're also in full defense of yourself. In football, you can get totally blindsided by a 290-pound man running at 19 miles an hour.
Sure. And you're not defending yourself.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
In the cage, you're locked in physically and,
Yeah.
Literally. You also have someone there that is there to save you, specifically you.
The ref.
Yeah.
Okay. But how does that add to the exciting factor?
More about the exciting factor, for me, I think about the puzzle. And it's, again, this is my own opinion. I love football. I love complex offensive game plans. But I think the puzzle in MMA is more complex than any other sport. Mm-hmm. If you are a boxer, if you lean on boxing as your foundation, and you're fighting someone like Habib, you're going
to lose.
You have to solve that puzzle. How the fuck do you solve that?
Yeah. When you're facing a guy who's an expert wrestler.
Exactly.
And he
think about the achievement of the individual. Think about the achievement, of Habib. He's 27-0. Think about his Sambo achievement. He's a multiple-time champion. He is, pound for pound, the greatest combat athlete walking right now, in my opinion.
Sure, I agree with that.
So when you think about that level of individual achievement, that pales over someone, in my opinion, that can throw a ball 40 yards, that can carry a ball 40 yards, that can run into another person at 40 yards. I mean, I know I'm kind of dumbing down football.
A little bit. I just think okay. In MMA, I'll give you that the individual achievements sticks with that individual forever. Whereas if you're on the team that Tom Brady's playing on and you're just some left corner that was a backup and you won the championship,
exactly.
You could argue, okay, like, did you really contribute anything?
Did you earn it?
You got a ring, but I mean, come on, dude. Like, you were a fucking backup.
You were,
like
third practice squad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got a ring, but whereas when you're Habib, you're literally like that. There's nothing anybody can take.
You're walking death.
Yeah, you cannot take anything away from that guy. Mm-hmm. Everything he's achieved in the octagon, he's achieved, and that's
on his own.
On his own. But
I mean, not totally.
Well,
MMA
trainers.
is a team sport in the aspect that you have a team. Khabib is part of Team AKA, American Kickboxing Academy.
Oh, he's part of AKA?
Fuck yeah, dude.
I didn't know that.
You wild.
I don't follow MMA as closely as you do. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, dude. He's always San Jose. NorCal.
Yeah, NorCal. That's crazy. That's wild. But, no, I mean, I'll give you that. However,
I mean, how many times do we see a aging veteran player who gets this last achieving championship and we're like, "Oh, great for you. You rode on the coattails of someone younger than you and you got this belt." That is not going to happen in combat.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
You are going to get fucking smashed.
Yeah.
You're going to get, there is no escaping reality. There is no riding anyone else's coattails.
Sure.
Your will and your talent are all that you have in there.
But when you are watching an MMA fight, let's talk about an MMA fight that I, infamously was excited for.
Did you see Francis Ngannou TKO Junior Dos Santos under a minute last night?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That was pretty fucking crazy.
Did you see the Joseph Benavidez Hussier Formiga fight?
No.
Oh, that was a great fight.
What happened?
Joseph Benavidez won by head kick. KO. Called out Henry Cejudo. He deserves that fight.
He called out Henry Cejudo?
He deserves that fight. He has a win over Henry Cejudo. Joseph Benavidez and Demetrius Johnson helped build the flyweight division. The flyweight division was built on their shoulders. And, he deserves that shot. Long past due.
That's crazy.
Long past due.
Well, what I was saying is, when you're watching an MMA fight, and specifically this example of CM Punk versus Mickey Gall.
Oh,
Okay, look,
Christ.
that's like the
Christ
listen.
heaven.
That's the equivalent of like 2014 Cleveland Browns.
I'm gonna twist this
versus
I'm
the
gonna twist
Patriots.
this to help me.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Because
Go ahead.
when you watch that fight, even though I was delusional, thinking that CM Punk had a chance, he had no chance. He had no chance. He didn't, right? I'm not wrong saying that. He didn't have a chance. Right?
No chance.
Yeah,
I told
no
you.
chance.
He had
Yes,
no
you did.
chance.
You told me, and I didn't believe you.
So wait, why is this bad?
Because when he went into that octagon, and when he ran at Mickey Gall and got like kicked in the gut, and he just fell over, and Mickey Gall was just toying with him the whole time, it was over. There's no way that anybody could come back from that isn't trained. There's no way. But if you're you're watching a football game, and you're watching the Browns down
Christ.
2 or 3 touchdowns, and it looks like, all right, it's done. This game's over. They can still come back.
This is a false equivalency.
How is that a false equivalency?
CM Punk has no athletic talent whatsoever. The Browns have athletes. They have athletes. They have collegiate studs on their team. They've always had at least one. They've always had at least one. CM Punk has no talent. He has no athletic talent.
Oh, okay. That's a lie. First of all,
He has no professional athletic talent. He is not at the athletic talent level to be in any professional league. Facts.
you want to consider the WWE as a professional league?
Come on.
They're professional fucking people. They're entertainers, but they're professional.
But you wouldn't call them professional athletes?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about. Professional athletes.
Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Come on. Come on. Fucking Goldberg, dog.
Gold Dust.
Dude. Yeah, come on. How are they not athletic? They're fucking... Dude, Rey Mysterio did a triple backflip.
No, they're athletic. But there's a reason why they're not professional athletes.
Yeah.
The Rock wanted to be a professional athlete. When he couldn't become one, he became The Rock as you know him.
Better career move than going to NFL, honestly. Or MMA.
Well, I'm just saying. That's a false equivalency. That's a bad example.
Really not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. I'll give another example then. Okay.
Let me tell you why it was a beautiful thing why CM Punk got that fight with Mickey Gall. Because there needs to be that legitimacy. There needs to be the establishment that there are several levels to this. And CM Punk should have known that. We're not talking about football, which came around in, the early 1900s. We're not talking about baseball, which came around in the late 1800s. We're talking about martial arts, which have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. Wrestling, the first Olympic sport.
Now not a sport in the Olympics.
Now not a sport, which
That's
shameful,
That's
shameful.
Really, yeah.
But think about this, honestly. We're talking about the first sport. Wrestling. Anyway, we're talking about one of the first sports.
Yeah.
Like there are people who are ingrained doing this when they're 3 years old. It's been ingrained into cultures of people, not cities. People. Civilizations have been built on martial arts.
Like who? Like who? Specifically martial arts, not just combat, not just war, but martial arts.
Not solely martial arts.
Oh,
you didn't let me finish there.
yeah.
No, you did let
I
me
gave you
finish
like a
there.
2-second
Not
pause.
solely,
All right.
not solely martial arts.
Okay.
but martial arts has always played a role. Okay. Think about the soldiers of Israel.
Krav Maga?
Krav Maga. Would they be as renowned if they did not know Krav Maga?
Probably, yeah.
Probably not.
I think
Probably
so
not.
still.
No,
I think so still.
No.
No, they're not going to be as scary, but I think they'll be as renowned.
If they're not as scary, then, then what? Anyway, let's get back to the point. So, okay. We're talking entertainment value.
The ability
now
to
let's talk drama. Let's talk drama between characters.
Yeah, the ability to be able to come back down. That Super Bowl Tom Brady pulled off when they came back from like 34 points down, second half against the Falcons, they come back to win it.
You hold that up as the crowning achievement of football? I will hold Anderson Silva's 5th round, final minutes, armbar triangle of Chael Sonnen in defense of his title.
Have I seen a better comeback in football than that game? The answer is no. Have I seen a better game? Yes. Have I seen a better comeback? No. I haven't seen a better comeback than that. That's an insane comeback.
Never seen a better comeback fight than Anderson Silva over Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen's a bitch, though, so.
But Chael Sonnen dominated that fight for 5.5 rounds.
And then Anderson Silva just, like, squeaked it out.
Like 10-8 rounds.
For everybody that doesn't follow MMA, go ahead and give a little recap of that fight so that way they know what's going on. Most people know
and
that
the
Super Bowl.
drama surrounding that fight.
Yeah, build that up a little bit for us.
Man, so long ago. Anderson Silva is arguably the greatest middleweight champion of all time.
Yeah.
I would say arguably, most would say undeniably. He's also arguably the greatest fighter of all time. He had a hell of a lot title defenses. In comes Chael Sonnen, who's an outstanding wrestler. Not the greatest, jiu-jitsu defense guy, not the greatest striker, but an outstanding wrestler. Great ground and pound. He comes in and he brings this level of trash talk that, is cultural, is personal. He insults Brazilians, he insults Brazilian culture, he insults Anderson, he insults Anderson's wife, says he's going to smack his wife on the ass, talks about the favelas.
Ooh.
Yeah. Talks about the Nogueira brothers. He
brings everything into it.
This is insane.
What year was this? 08?
Like, okay.
Was this 08, 09, 10? What was this?
This is like 11, 12.
Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe 10. But think about, without that drama, maybe what's better for anyone who listens to this, if anyone does listen to this.
People listen to this.
Listen, if you followed the drama surrounding Khabib Nurmagomedov and Conor McGregor, the kind of venom and the darkness that surrounded that, cultural Islamophobia, insulting people's wives, fathers, faiths. These cuts are so personal. But, they affect an entire people. They, think about what Khabib represents. Khabib does not represent himself. We say MMA is an individual sport, but think about what Khabib represents. He represents hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of
Muslims.
Think about what Conor represents. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Irish and Irish Americans.
Or even just Europeans.
Perhaps.
Western Europeans.
Yeah,
maybe.
Irish people around the world.
Yeah.
Think about the weight of that is on, each fighter's shoulders, and then they have to carry that and perform.
There's a lot more on
And
the
they
shoulders
don't,
of one man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Or a
don't-
woman. Or a
They
woman.
don't, one drive. In this sport, one drive can win a game. One play can win a game.
One punch.
Yeah.
Because, look at my man. I'm not good with names, you know that. But the heavyweight.
Francis Ngannou.
No, not. Well, yeah, that fight but also on the same card as Conor versus Khabib. What's his name? Derek
Lewis.
The Black Beast. When he was getting dogged that entire fight.
Think about that comeback, man.
Yeah.
We got to watch a pay-per-view before I leave together.
Yeah, we do. Got to go to B-dubs.
Yeah, but anyway, think that is, that is so heavy. What sport carries that kind of heat with it and that kind of pressure with it?
Because you're
Besides
right.
soccer.
You're right when you say that no other sport. I mean, the UFC's now becoming a little more corporate, so they're starting to back away from trying to allow fighters to trash talk to that degree and bring in all that stuff. But that's what sells, and that's what people want to see. People love when these guys become beacons and symbols of these groups that they represent, as opposed to just, I'm from Oakland, so I'm, Raiders, whatever. It's deeper. I agree with that. But just from an excitement factor, I don't know. I just feel like, although I've seen plenty of exciting MMA fights, there's nothing like the build-up to an exciting card that you're just like, what the fuck is going to happen? However, because there are so many moving parts in football, because there are so many moving parts in baseball, basketball, there's a lot of different nuances going on within, not just like for baseball, not just the guy on the plate versus the guy on the mound, but also the guys on base, also the shifts that are applied in the outfield, the shifts in the infield too, also weather, also the wind matters. There's a lot of little things that you got to account for. Is the guy on the mound tired? How many pitches has he thrown? You got to account for that. What's the guy, is the guy on the mound, is he a power guy? Does he just get on base? Is he fast? Are you going to have to just, should the pitcher just get him on base because he's slow and you don't want to throw to him because he's going to hit a home run? So
I would argue.
I mean, there's a lot of different
that all of the qualities of that sport, the minutia of the difficulties of that sport, pale in comparison to that of MMA.
How?
Because MMA is a compilation of every combat sport that came before it, and this leads into my final point of why MMA is the greatest sport. It's the ultimate legacy sport. As I said, it's built on every combat sport before it and martial art before it. We spoke earlier about how wrestling is the first Olympic sport. Mm-hmm. Think about how long Taekwondo has been alive. Think about how long, kickboxing has been alive. Jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, sambo.
I love sambo. Hey, mambo.
Think about,
mambo.
all of these sports have they're all individual sports.
Yes.
You can be an Olympic gold champion in judo.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you're going to be great, in MMA. That guarantees you nothing. It gives you a strong foundation, but it doesn't guarantee you anything.
I mean, if we're going to talk about... Oh, my God.
I mean... Go ahead.
If we're going to talk about the world, and we've been dancing around this, we got to go straight soccer or football versus MMA then. Team sports versus individual sports. But there's not an individual sport, and I will give you, there is not an individual sport, in my opinion, that is more exciting than MMA. Team sports, though, I feel like there's a couple. The weight of what MMA means to a country or a group of people outweighs any other sport. I agree, and that adds to the drama. But when you're in the game, when you're watching the game, and the movements, the little nuances that everybody on that team has to have in their mind, not just one person, I believe is fairly it's profound. when you
I
think about
disagree.
it.
Think about the nuances there are in elements of jiu-jitsu, hand fighting, mount control,
Yeah.
half guard.
No, I agree.
The inconsistencies of that alone are to the nth degree. Compound that with the intricacies of boxing, the sweet science, head movement,
The outdated
footwork.
science. The pseudoscience.
Build that upon the intricacies of wrestling, gable grips, Dagestani iron leg clamps.
I just
Put that on a sport, compound on that on a sport that's constantly innovating. No other sport is innovating at the rate that MMA innovates, because MMA innovates, it on a whim of the person that does something new and different and crazy.
That's the same with the NFL.
No.
Yes.
No.
The types of plays that are run in the NFL now were not being run 5 years ago. Like the amount of the way a team is built, the way the cap is being like managed by these GMs and front offices in the NFL and in the NBA, totally different than 5 years ago.
I disagree. I think what's
Oh.
old. I think what's old is new again in the NFL.
No.
What? Have the Patriots changed so much in the last 20 years?
The way that the play calling, yes, because Belichick goes with the times, and he doesn't stick to what won him their first Super Bowl back in 2002. His ability to just have fresh legs out there all the time.
I think Belichick is overplayed. I think he's
What?
overrated.
Oh my! What the fuck?
I think too much credit is given to Belichick and not enough credit is given to the NorCal kid, terrific Tom Brady. Not enough credit given to terrific Tom.
Not enough credit.
Not enough. No one brings up the fact that he's taken multiple pay cuts on multiple contracts to bring other players in.
But when you're talking about being on the field, and when your quarterback is not Tom Brady, but Brian Hoyer, and you still are able to get to the playoffs, or Jimmy bitch-ass Garoppolo, who is the person that calms the storm?
See,
that is Bill Belichick.
You don't have that kind of leeway in MMA. You don't have that kind of leeway. Think about the window you have as an MMA fighter. It's a small window.
Well, yeah, look at Cain Velasquez. He's not the same anymore.
Right?
But he was supposed to be the next, big thing.
Think what happens if you lose 3 fights in a row.
You're done.
You're out.
It's
You're
over.
out of the UFC.
Yeah.
And it's a fight. It's a coin flip a lot of times. You try to manage that coin flip.
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk. I agree.
The tightest rope.
Yeah, I agree with you on that regard, but it's also just as tight in the NFL where
No.
you're a lineman, you miss a block 3 times in practice, and the coach thinks, we're only paying you what? Fucking not even $100K a week. We can take that hit up to our salary cap. Get the fuck out of here. We can get a guy.
That's completely situational.
No, that's the same.
No, that's completely situational.
You lose 3
because
games.
they may not have enough cap on the team to get rid of you. They may owe.
No, they're of course gonna.
They could always rotate you to another position.
But the way that the contracts work in the NFL is nothing's guaranteed unless you get your bonus. That's why guys always want higher bonuses as opposed to their actual contracts. That's why Aaron Donald, your man, wanted higher bonuses than his actual contract because he's not going to see a penny of that if he gets injured. Whereas in MMA, the guys get injured. Do they still get paid? Oh, yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't, because when they get injured, they don't get to fight. And when you don't get to fight, you often don't get paid.
Not Conor.
Seldom Conor. How many fighters are Conor McGregor?
1.
Exactly. They don't have a union to back them up and uphold them.
Is that going to happen soon? Do you think there's going to be a fighters union?
Probably not.
Why not?
Because fighters live, in their own bubbles, in their team bubbles. Well, I have no place saying this because I'm not a fighter. In fact, I know none. But I imagine that, from years of fandom that, those who participate in the MMA, life, rather live in small bubbles, and they don't often have the opportunity to communicate and unite, and also consider that they're fighting.
Yeah.
They're not playing a sport. This is a fight. Like, this is combat. Why would I want to befriend you? You're going to elbow me in the face. You're going to break my orbital. Hard to get those people to cooperate.
No, that makes sense. And also the fact that you have fighters from all over the world.
Yeah.
That, like, how is, unions are tied to specifically the government. But when you have fighters from Japan, from Latin America, from Europe, from other parts of Asia, from America, it's like, how can you tie them to the American government in the form of a union? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
So
I get it.
So my argument was based on 3 points. The legitimacy of its world champions, which you've agreed with, correct?
Sure. Yeah, I'll say that. I agree with you on that.
The entertainment and the value of its entertainment and drama is that like none other.
I disagree.
But you did say that you thought it was the most entertaining and dramatic individual sport.
Individual sport? Yes.
Okay.
Individual sport. Team sports, different story.
Well, okay, where would you rank MMA amongst team sports as far as entertainment value?
4th. I'd say 4th.
What would be ahead of it? The big 3?
No, actually.
Okay.
Number 1, and I'm just talking when you're watching it on TV.
Okay.
Because when you're in person, it's a totally different fucking story. Number 1, the NFL. When you're watching a really good fucking football game, the drama of, the starting quarterback gets injured and the backup has to come in, hold the lead against a really good defense, and you're like, holy shit, is this going to happen? What's going to fucking happen? I mean, that's fucking textbook drama right there. That's Shakespearean. Like, you can't write it any better than that. And then the backup goes ahead and takes them, wins them a couple more games. A la Nick Foles. You can't write it better than that.
That doesn't excite me as much as the wily veteran who gets, the call on 2 weeks' notice to fight the champion because someone fell out of a fight. They're coming off the couch. Michael Bisping.
Oh, Michael Bisping. You were thinking of Michael Bisping. I was thinking of
2 weeks' notice, knocks out Lou Rocco, becomes middleweight champion of the world.
I was thinking of the guy who
I would hold that up as the equivalency of Nick Foles coming in off the bench to take him on that playoff run.
To win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I was thinking of oh god, what the fuck is his name, dude? See, this is why I need to watch more MMA. But
why don't you?
Dude, because it's like
the content is out there.
Oh, I know it is. I just gotta I don't know. I feel like to be a good MMA fan or like a fan of something, I like to buy in and go all in on stuff, and I'm all in on a lot of things right now, so I don't have the time. But
you don't have to go all in. Why don't you just dabble? Watch a 15-minute fight on YouTube. Watch tributes or compilations.
Yeah, I will at some point. But the one I was thinking of is the firefighter. What's his name? Not the firefighter. Raging Al Iaquinta fighting
the real estate agent.
Yeah, fighting
Raging Al.
Raging Al.
Same Al. The man, the king of Long Island.
Fighting Khabib on a week's notice.
On 24 hours notice.
24 hours
with
notice.
the distance. It could be on 24 hours notice. What? Dude, okay, let's talk about that drama. Let me hold that week up as the most dramatic week in sports, period. Max
Yeah.
Khabib, is set to fight Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson knee freaking blows because he trips on a cable. Max Holloway comes in on a week's notice, but he can't, the New York Commission doesn't say he can make weight. On 24 hours notice, freaking Ally Quinta comes in and fights Khabib. 11? Yeah, and fights Khabib, and goes the distance. Oh, but let me run that back. Before that, when they're on the bus at the Barclays Centers, Conor McGregor and the Irish Mafia come out of nowhere and throw dollies through the bus, glass which pierces the eyes of some fighters,
including
Rose Namajunas is shook to her, to her core. She still shows up and wins the fight the next day. But she's shook from it, and things are just going crazy.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor's on the run from the police, and then he, gives himself up and he gets, released, and that was a big hoo-ha for no reason. But
and then you look like months later.
Artem gets surrounded by Khabib and his homies, and Khabib slaps him. Like, it's crazy. It's insane. It was the craziest week in sports. Period.
And then you look months later at Conor versus Khabib.
There's a conclusion to it,
Yeah.
I mean, is there a conclusion to it? No, but there's a definitive chapter.
Yeah. No, that's like a chapter. That's like a legit chapter in the UFC.
It's not like Steph Curry's gonna get his chance next year to win the NBA Finals. How do we feel about it, Tom? We feel great about it, Ted. No one's talking about this fight like this. People are saying Conor McGregor got his ass whooped.
And the thing too, it's
from
like
pillar to post.
The thing too, it's like every year you're expecting. Now I'm kind of helping your argument out a little bit, but I'll do it. I don't give a shit because honestly, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I can see his points, but like that fight, Conor versus Khabib, might never happen again.
It would if Conor would take a fight against someone not named Khabib and just get a win. Just one win, and he'd be right there. Like, if he came out and said, I'm going to fight Tony Ferguson, and if he beat Tony Ferguson, he'd be right there. If he called out Justin Gaethje, he'd be right there. All he has to do is literally get one fight. You get one win.
But he's too proud to do that. But that's the thing. It might not ever happen again, and that might be your only chance to ever see that happen, Whereas in the NBA, the NFL, you can expect the Warriors to be there next year. You can expect the Patriots to be there again. You can expect, other fringe teams that are not like empires like the Patriots or the Warriors, but like the Saints. They're going to be in it again. The Rams, they'll be there. You don't.
Let me pose.
See that
let
again.
me pose a public experiment. Let me announce it right here.
Oh.
Let me
announcement time.
Let me challenge.
Everybody's favorite time.
Let me challenge you.
Yeah, challenge.
And I'll challenge myself to it.
Okay, all right.
Let me and you go all in. I'll go all in on NFL. All in.
NFL.
All in on NFL. I'll do reports, scouting, all this. I mean, I'm already all in on the Rams.
But you mean NFL like overall?
I'll go, like I used to. I used to be balls deep into the NFL when I was in high school. I'll get back into it, but you got to go balls deep into MMA. And you hold the NFL as your most exciting sport, right?
You see, you didn't let me finish because...
Oh, because now you're thinking about the commercials. We didn't even talk about the commercials.
No, not the commercials. No,
we'll get right back to this drive right after this.
No.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
No, I was thinking of the NBA because in the NBA, it's a 365-day sport.
Oh,
whereas...
Christ.
No, okay, just let.
So you're choosing the NBA for me. I'll let you choose the sport.
No.
No, you choose the sport, and I'll let you choose the team because I'm not.
The team?
I am not. No. I'm not choosing the Celtics. I'm not choosing the Celtics.
Oh, come on.
I'm not choosing the Celtics.
Come on.
I've said this multiple times on this podcast, but I used to claim to be a Lakers fan. Upon deep self-reflection into the pools of my inner being, I found out that I wasn't a Lakers fan. I was just a Kobe Bryant fan. And once Kobe Bryant left, my Laker fandom left. It also hurt that the Lakers front office are so stupid. They're so stupid.
They could get Kawhi Leonard and they have Anthony.
I don't want them to do that. I don't.
Why not?
Superstar chasing. It's killing the brand of the league.
Go on.
And it's ultimately killing the sport. The league matters. The brand matters.
Yeah, I agree.
And it has to matter just as much as the players. The players have to be developed within
the brand. Yeah. Like the old school days.
Not so much like the old school. Well, think about how great the old school days would be if they had full coverages, stuff like that. Then yes, like the old school days.
All I had to say about the NBA because I feel like the NBA has a step up on the NFL because free agency just started literally not even 2 hours ago, and already I'm getting notifications on top of notifications on my phone from ESPN being like, this guy signed here, this guy signed there.
Free agency just signed with what? Started with what?
It started at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
For what sport?
NBA.
Ugh.
So, the finals just ended earlier this month. Last day.
Kemba Walker signed with the Celtics, did he not?
Yes, he's about to. And I don't like that deal. But, yeah. So, because the NBA, you can talk about the NBA all year round. NFL, not so much. Not so much. After the Super Bowl and after draft, even after the Super Bowl, it takes 2 months for the draft to come on. And then free agency, you talk about for a week, and then all the free agents are gone. It's not as consistent. Whereas the NBA, you literally can talk about it every fucking day of every week in the entire year.
Here's my problem is that I don't have an emotional connection to anything in the NBA.
Yeah.
Or to any team.
Yeah.
I have an emotional connection, to the Rams. I went through a transitionary period in my life.
With the Rams.
With the Rams.
And back with the Rams.
And back with the Rams. Same with the UFC. Same with MMA. When it comes to basketball, I don't have that. It'd be cool to have that, but I don't have that.
Right.
Perhaps if I lived in the heart of Sacramento underneath the shadow of the Golden One, then, I'd be there at the King's altar, celebrating, in my purple finery, but I'm not.
Yeah. I mean,
I live in the sweltering heat of Elk Grove.
So if
melting.
And soon in the sweltering heat of Hawaii.
Yes. No professional teams there, but
yeah, you'll have the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah.
You'll be good. But okay, I'll accept your challenge. I'll go all in for the time that the NFL season is around. So from September through, January, I will buy into the MMA and UFC while you buy in to the NFL.
Okay.
And we'll report on it before you leave to Hawaii and when you come back for a short time, hopefully in December for Christmas
Not
break.
only before, why don't we also just have discussions about it between, doesn't have to be.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have to be on the pod, but I know
we'll just
some people will want to hear.
Because I'll be back for Christmas, and then we could do the ultimate check-in.
That's going to happen because, I don't know, I'm going to make an announcement about it at some point. Not anytime soon, but the season 1 of the Closers podcast is going to end soon after Christmas. So it'll be one of the last episodes of the first season of the podcast. So I'm down for that. I'll have to buy in, I might buy in sooner. I might go all in sooner, but for right now, I'm so busy. I don't know. I have to keep my eyes peeled and my ears peeled for the next pay-per-views. I know there's going to be a fight night in Sacramento soon. Not gonna be able to go to that because I got quinceañera
That kind of sucks. So we got roped
to bartend, not bartend, to be a bouncer at. It's fine. We can watch it on our phones. It's not a big deal.
Can we?
Yeah, we can. Why the
Alright.
fuck not? Come on now.
Okay, but let's get back to the crux of the discussion. So you agreed with me on the legitimacy of it. It sounds like on the entertainment value of it, on the drama value of it, sounds like you're swaying over to me.
I see. No, because
sounds like you're leaning to me.
No, because I see the drama, I understand the drama, and I appreciate the drama. For an individual
It
sport.
compels you,
For an individual
but
sport.
it doesn't compel you.
For an individual sport, it is very compelling. For a team sport, there's so many other team sports where it's just more compelling. All the World Cup, you got
What? It happens once every 4 years.
Still more compelling to me. That's what I agree. If the argument was individual sports, I literally could not argue against you because you're right. Team sports, there's the fact that other people on the same field, ice, rink, whatever the fuck, a court, have to also be in tune with your movements. They have to know what you're going to do before you even do it, so they're in the right position to make the team win.
I disagree. They can overtake your movements. How often can a dominant player exert his dominance over his team and make it an individual effort to win? Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant in basketball. Because in basketball, you got 5 versus 5. Whereas in football, you got 11 versus 11. In soccer, you got, what, is it 10v10? I think it's 10v10. It's a little different.
Ronaldo.
You can't do it. No.
You mean to tell me Ronaldo hasn't won games on his own? Messi hasn't won games on his own?
Those are legitimately 2 of the best players to ever play soccer or football.
Their dominance hasn't overtaken
Kobe
other
Bryant.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, how often do teams lacking these dominant players win championships? How often do they exert themselves as champions? Never.
Not never.
Never.
Okay, in the Premier League in 2000, the Premier League in 2000, I believe 15 or 16, Leicester City, who was recently relegated the previous season, finally got a chance to play in the Premier League of the UK or of England. And what did they do? They went from the worst team in one season, went from the worst team in the Premier League to the best. They won the championship with having no stars. They didn't have a star.
This is the problem with soccer. It's too branched. You got the Premier League. You got, South America. Then you got American, MLS. It's too branched.
Well,
you don't have the best playing the best.
Well, because the best does play. The best, they do.
Only every 4 years.
In the Champions League. No, in the Champions League. Every year. The teams that win each fucking, each league, La Liga, Premier League, the Bundesliga, like all those leagues send their champions to play in the Champions League, and they all play against each other, and then you get the best. You see the tournament happen, and then the team that wins the fucking tournament is the best team. Liverpool just beat Tottenham Hotspur this season. Fucking blew people away. They weren't expecting it, but they fucking won. They beat Real Madrid, I think, or Barcelona, one of the two. They beat one of them.
So you're telling me Bruno Tortillas, Gregory.
Hey, Greg.
So you're telling me that the best Champions team is the best Champions League team is better than the best team in South Africa and Africa?
Yes, by a large margin.
But we know that for sure.
I would bet everything that I own that Liverpool would beat the best team in Africa. Yes.
Where they beat the best team in America. You're saying unequivocally they're the best team out there?
Yes.
Unequivocally.
Yes, because look,
Better than like the World Cup winner. They're unequivocally the best team.
well, some of the people that won the World Cup play for Liverpool, so it's kind of hard to say which team is better. But I would possibly even go that far. Yeah, I would. I would go that far. What? For individual sport, I agree with you. I agree.
All right.
And I think we got enough time. And hopefully
What about the legacy aspect of it?
the legacy aspect.
Yeah. So we talked about the legitimacy. We talked about the entertainment. My third point was the legacy. I talked about how it was the culmination of several other sports, and how the legacy of those sports, ultimately culminated into MMA.
Well, the legacy. I'm confused by your question. What do you mean? Like,
I'm not. It's a statement.
what's your I'm sorry. I'm confused by it.
I'm saying that the culmination of all the sports,
Yeah.
the individual sports, boxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, taekwondo, that culminated into MMA, give MMA the advantage of having the greatest, well, it's the shortest legacy, it has the greatest legacy. It is built upon the legacy of other sports. Therefore, it is the greatest sport.
What? That makes no sense. How does football contribute to the legacy of MMA? I don't understand what
I
you're
didn't
saying.
say football.
You said other sports.
Yeah, I mentioned those other sports. Boxing, wrestling.
Okay.
Muay Thai.
Other martial arts.
Yeah, but they're sports. They're all. They're
They
Olympic
they are.
sports.
I agree. I just was
They're
confused by
leagues.
what you meant by sports. I thought you meant like baseball contributed to the.
No.
Okay,
They're
all right.
leagues.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yes, the term mixed martial arts, keyword mixed, obviously means that there are multiple sports, multiple different styles of fighting that go into this version of what martial arts is, this specific sport. Yes, it is a deeper sport than most. But when you talk about what's the best sport in the world, individually, I agree with you. But when you're talking about overall entertainment, overall how many people watch it, overall how many people care, I cannot agree.
But what is so? What is the greatest sport in your estimation?
Soccer, in my opinion, just because of the outreach it has and just the amount of people that watch it across the globe and how many people enjoy it. And it is thrilling. When you're watching a great soccer game, dude, it's fucking crazy. But, I mean, when you're watching a bad soccer game, I mean, you want to fall asleep. But that's just me. But when you're watching like two great teams going at it and they're just giving all they have, it's just as exciting, if not more, than an MMA bout.
Oh, I disagree. If they were allowed to kick each other in the face, it would be exciting.
Why does it have to have...
Because violence is inherently more exciting than nonviolence. Fact.
I don't think it's a fact.
Oh, really? Look at the box office.
I mean...
It
yeah,
is more
no,
entertaining.
okay, yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but
Violence sells.
yeah, okay, well, we'll see. I don't know. I disagree on that point, but our argument is MMA the most exciting, the best sport in the world? I don't agree with that. Violence, separate issue, separate topic, but
What?
it's a separate thing.
Violence is
The
central to MMA.
Football.
Violence is central to football.
Football has violence in it. There's violence isn't
And soccer has been the cause of several acts of violence.
Sure, yeah, okay, but
White collar and physical.
sure, whatever. Fucking
Violence permeates through every sport except for maybe basketball.
Back in the 70s and 80s, those guys used to throw hands all the time.
So,
But that was a long time ago. But I don't know. I think
if you accept the demon within you, then you would find that MMA is the greatest sport.
I think we will let the audience decide on who's right. But yeah, I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all for listening in on this 12th episode of the Closers Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Closers Podcast. I post a lot on there about the upcoming episodes and the upcoming guests, so please follow that. Be sure to like our Facebook page if you're on there. Twitter is coming soon. And yeah, hope you listen into the other ones, because next week we have my cousin, actually, Mariah Gonzalez, who is a NFL cheerleader with the San Francisco 49ers.
Boo.
Or Santa Clara 49ers, I guess some people call them now.
Boo.
And her boyfriend, Jason Harms, the second. And they're going to talk about her journey from becoming just a dancer, being, 3 years old dancing at recitals, to now being an NFL cheerleader. It's a great journey, and hope you all listen. Yeah, what?
I don't mean to cut you off.
What?
Before we close.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the Raiders?
And I think that's all the time we got for today. We'll talk to you on the next podcast. Hope you listen and take care.
Is that bad? Do you feel bad about him?
That dude, I can go on forever, but we gotta go. We gotta go.
Sounds like deflection.
No, not deflection. I just we gotta go.
Sounds like deflection.
No, we just gotta go. Take care, guys. Bye.